Welcome back to my channel, Conspiracy and Crime. Tonight I'm bringing you a story that happened somewhere in Pennsylvania, deep in the woods. Susan and Ned were driving through an area that was known to have an axe murderer. It was raining really hard and the thunder roared. You could hear the lightning crack and the wind was shearing. A little rattled, Ned decided that he was going to pull over the car. But as he tried to hit the brakes, the car ended up plunging into the ditch. Ned looked over at Susan and said, "Honey, lock the doors when I get out. I'm going to assess the situation." Susan frantically locked the doors, knowing where she was at, knowing that there was a story there of an axe murderer. She decided to slip down into her seat. With the rain and the thunder and the lightning, she couldn't see or hear anything that was happening outside. That made her even more terrified. As time went on, she could hear on the car a little bit of a thump. 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 But she didn't know what it was. She yelled out for Ned a few times, but nobody answered. A couple minutes later, she heard it again. But this time it sounded more like a thumping tread. Very frightened, she double-checked that the doors were locked. She looked outside to see if she had any light out there, and suddenly she was able to see that there was just a glimmer coming from a distance. She waited a couple of seconds and then she heard in an official-sounding voice, "Ma'am, please step out of the car." Reluctantly getting out of the car, she could hear that thump, thump, thump. For a moment, she was taken back because the voice said again, "Ma'am, can you please come this way?" And it was what appeared to be a flashlight getting closer. Upon further review, she could see it was hands dragging across the car. As she looked a little closer, she saw that it was her husband hanging by his feet from a tree that was just above the car. As she turned to panic, she heard the voice one more time, "Ma'am, come over here." And as she turned, she saw the look in his eyes, and she knew at that very moment it wasn't somebody of authority. It was the axe murderer. And the last thing she saw, which she thought was a flashlight, was actually the light of the moon gleaming off of the axe.